Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we are doing some seeding, and we actually pulled out the old Greg Judy bale and roller. This is the antique. This is my original one that Kendall used as a template to build the one that we sell today. And we're back here on the new farm we bought. Jan and I bought this summer, or last summer, 2022. I got my herd seeder on. That is one fine seeder. I've done some work on it. It comes with a bracket that mounts down here. So your seed's actually being spread down where my hand's at. So I built an upright frame, brought it up, got it about 2 foot higher. It throws the seed better. It also keeps the seed away from your tires. Throwing water, you throw water up on this fan blade, next thing you know, you've got seed packed in around there. It's just not good. But it just runs on a 12-volt battery. I've got 2 plug-ins here. That goes to my four-wheeler, so that plug in there, and this one stays with the four-wheeler. So all I have to do is plug them in when I'm done with it, or when I'm ready to use it. Yeah, this is a Rubicon 500. You see my seat is in dire need of a new one, but you know what? It still works. You can see how tight I put this seat down. If I get down here on the ground and look at it, it's within a 1/4 inch of each other. On ponds, where you just have solid clay, I like the seed to actually touch each other. This isn't too bad of dirt. Johnny took all the trees out of here that I didn't have marked, and he left the ones with flags on. There's still a lot of trees in here, but that's what he started with. It looked like that. There wasn't any pasture in here, it was just all trees. But we've got some burning to do. We're actually going to burn these piles. Somebody said, why don't you chip them? Anybody wants to chip this, you just give me a call. You can come out and chip all you want. But I'm going to warn you, that thing's about 90% honey locust. And they've got thorns on them anywhere from 3 inches to 6 inches long. And then you got the root wads you got to deal with. See, I saved that honey locust right there. I've got a flag on it. I need some. I got to have some for some shade. So I saved that big one. Yeah, it's kind of gnarly, but it's not as bad as some of them. I'm going to take that one off on the right and leave that big one there. And now the wind's coming up. We got Isaac and Jackson and Ike and myself. I'm the bale and roller, and then when I get done, I grab a pitchfork and help them. But this has all been seeded. The boys did a bunch of this the other day. I just bought some really junky hay. I mean, it's junk. It's baled in October. So it's not something you want to be feeding your animals. But it makes it, a good mulch to hold the ground until the fescue seed has a chance to come up. And this is March 2nd, so we're getting on about the right time. Supposed to get a rain tomorrow. I was wanting to get all this done before the rains come, and that way we've got the mulch covering it. See, the bale and roller allows you to put your hay in a long windrows, and then you take your pitchforks and you grab those windrows and you spread them both directions. It gives you tremendous coverage. I'll show you this morning. Right before lunch, we finished up. We unrolled 2 right here. I mean, we got a lot of coverage on 2 bales. But you don't want to get your hay too thick. If you get it too thick, well then it's more like a mulch and it seals off the sun. And the little baby fescue plants can't get their head through it when they start to sprout. And you end up with no grass. Yeah, this is not the kind of hay you'd want to be feeding anything. It's just got a little bit of everything in it. Somebody asked me, aren't you worried about weeds? There's enough weeds in the seed bank here already to last you thousands of years. You just got to learn to graze your land right, folks. Once you start grazing it correctly and not overgrazing it, your beneficial plants, if you give them a fair chase, a fair advantage, they can compete with the weeds. As a matter of fact, they will outcompete the weeds. And you'll have a whole lot more what you want than what you don't want. But here's broom sedge. This is the broom sedge that was in the hay. That's the seed head on broom sedge. I'm not worried about it. I know it's in the hay. Broom sedge likes poor ground. Once we get all this seeded and we get the new stand coming up, we're gonna put some lime on this. But, you know, look at the green in the foreground there. March 1st. I don't know if I've ever seen that much green that early. Jan and I just got back from West Virginia, and Donna and Banyan, their farm, they had grass on the part that they hadn't grazed. So it was a hay field that I told them they needed to be grazing. They're gonna convert that hay field to pasture, which is a really good decision. There was quite a bit of green already in West Virginia, more than what we've got here. But you know what? We're one day closer to spring. That's the way I look at it. Oh, there's another one of those honey locusts I left for shade. Now that particular honey locust, it's got a few more thorns on it. But there's a persimmon tree. There just isn't much hardwood in here as far as oaks. I left quite a few of the persimmons. There's some wild cherry, and you know, people freak out about wild cherry. Oh, if it falls over, your cows eat it, they'll die. Well, I don't know. I've owned livestock for, let's see, about 50 years, and never lost one yet to cherry. So take that for what it's worth. We still have some major brush piles in here, so Johnny's got some work to do in here, but you know, it's a good start. I bet you we've got 75% of it done. So yeah, went from that crap to this. And folks, you can kind of make some pretty good inroads with livestock on something like this. But if it looks like that, I'm sorry, you're not gonna grow any grass in that stuff. Boy, look at that. There's the wind that busted off one of Johnny's. Ooh. Man, oh man, oh man. That's one of them honey locusts. See, he did a pretty good job of shaking the dirt loose on those root wads. I mean, there's just, on the stumps, there's hardly any dirt in there. So we get a good hot fire going in there, it's gonna burn these brush piles up pretty darn good. I wanna catch the wind out of the north and light it on that end and let it push through going south. It'll come out this end over here. And there's nothing out here for the fire to really burn. And we're not gonna leave it. I mean, we'll cut it, we'll get it started, and we'll stay with it. Make sure it has a good burn ring around it before we leave it. So there's a little dirt right there, but it's not bad. Yeah, this place has come a long ways in a couple weeks of Johnny with his skid steer. And somebody said the other day he had the wrong tool. He needed a high lift or a dozer. Johnny and I both agreed we've got the right tool. Because you put a big high lift in here, those big steel tracks on it, darn thing weighs 50,000 pounds. You won't have any sod lift. It will not look like that. It's gonna look like you plowed it. So we've got a rubber track machine in here, and it'll handle everything that you see in that pile right there. He dug it out and didn't tear up the land doing it. So anyway, I'm gonna get off of here, get back over there and help the boys and get another bale unrolled here, and we're gonna be finishing up. And everyone new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out if you would, and we'll see you next time.